I was gone for about a year. Now I'm coming back January 4th. And I missed out on some of the, I was never invited to meetings or anything, which I didn't expect to be invited to, but there's a big aspect of this building that does not fill all the needs of all the employees of the Sheriff Department.
Are you talking about the jail, Mr. Kuntz?
No.
You're talking about the admin?
The admin building.
This has to do with the jail.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a little...
But that's okay.
I'll be back.
If you would, as I've offered to you before, if you would like to meet...
My fault, the jail.
Okay, we can meet. I've offered that. Okay. Did you have any comments you wanted to make on... Mr. Kuntz, did you have any comments you wanted to make on these agreements regarding the jail? Okay, thank you. Mr. Kelly?
Excuse me, that was my point of this thing, of any changes that needed to be made. And I look at it, whether it's the jail, the admin, or anything else, it's all one and the same. And this billing or this concept that you're going to be signing has to deal with that. And I think we need the opportunity to understand what the Sheriff-elect Kuntz is talking about or thinking and his concerns.
Mr. Kelly, these documents have to do with the jail only. It does not have to do with the administration building.
Yeah, there's a distinct difference in the two facilities. And the jail is the one over which, well, I shouldn't speak to this. I think Doug or Jeannie can probably address that better than I, but certainly the state is going to have a great deal to say about the design of that facility.
Doug Evans with Kitchell, and I can speak to the agreements. The agreements are between the state of California and Calaveras County relating to the construction and funding of the jail project only. The agreements don't speak to the admin building or the dormitory because those are county projects. County-funded projects.
This is AB 900 funds only.
Yes.
I think that distinction was maybe clouded a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing of clarification, that this jail project then is going to be the, 160-bed jail?
Yes.
And the dormitory?
No.
No, the dormitory is what Measure J pays for.
Yes.
And the admin building.
I wanted to be sure what this whole thing entailed now, because it's been in such a flux in the last period of time. Thank you.
Yeah, Gary, do you want to please come up? We're on record. Thank you.
So we're not going to discuss about the Sheriff Department today?
We're not talking about the administration building.
Okay.
This is just the agreements with the state regarding the jail.
So I should save it on the public comment session and see what I can say?
No, you can, I mean, it's not agendized. You know, if you want to say something in public comments, you know, you're free to do that. If you would like to meet with the sheriff, with Kitchell, with Jeannie, Jim, we can arrange that too.
So the only thing, just for clarification, the only thing that is going to be subject to this thing of overcharges or changing in costs is going to be that portion of the jail, of the jail that the state is paying for. Anything else is whole and separate.
Correct.
Very good. Thank you.
Madeline, do you want to give these to Gary so he can, if he wants to look at them? Okay, is there anyone else who has anything that they would like to discuss on the documents for the jail between the county and the state agencies? Okay, are there any questions or comments from the board? Gary?
I have a question for Dennis. Dennis, at an earlier study session, and I'm reading on this where it says maximum state funding, $26,387,591. You were talking about an earlier study session about there may be more funds available. Is that still viable? Is that still out there?
No, they've made some changes to the I think people that were overmatched had an opportunity to get more funding, but
No, not at this point. That could change before this is all over with. There is still a pot of money in round one of AB 900 funding. We continue to go back to CSA. What we have been pushing for is to get them to include design. And if we could include design, it would certainly would help us tremendously.
Okay, thank you. I think that was the only one that stood out from what I read.
Okay. If there's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion on the two documents that were before us. Project delivery and construction and the certificate with the county for the matching funds with the correction standard authority, etc. Is there a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'll move this item.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes on a 5-0. Thank you. Madeline, we're going to... Okay, I'd like to move to item 18, a minute order adopting the Arnold Rimtrail Cedar Center connection. Is Mr. Garcia here? Madeline, do you want to see if Mr. Garcia might be coming? Just in the interim, while we're waiting for Mr. Garcia, let's move to item 19, review of correspondence reports. Mr. Tryon.
Okay, let me give you my RCRC report.
Oh my gosh. When Tom shows up, we're going to stop.
Oh, no, you don't. Not if I'm on a roll.
If you're on a roll?
They're talking on the realignment about taking state prisoners, and they're saying if we do, we'll get $23,000 per prisoner, but that is based on a tax increase, and nobody knows whether the tax increase will be approved. I haven't heard of this. Maybe Jeannie has. Of importance to all counties is a plan to securitize pre-2004 state mandates. Are we doing that?
No.
No. Okay. Do we have pre-2004 state?
I heard that was going nowhere, but
That's not what they said here. You might want to check with them because they're going to securitize them. Okay, under the 2010 California Building Code standards that come into effect on January 1st, there are three issues that RCRC wanted to highlight. The first is all residents will require sprinklers effective January 1st, 2011. And I think that includes remodels. The requirement does not apply to additions or remodels. And they figure that'll add to the cost of a home someplace around $5,000. And then they have areas with inadequate fire flows or on wells. This new standard will require installation of a 330-gallon tank and often a pump for an additional $500 to $1,000. And I don't see any of that changing since the State Fire Marshal's office has been working towards these requirements for many years. The second issue that happens January 1st in California is construction waste diversion requirement. As directed by Governor Schwarzenegger, the California Green Building Standards, as part of the California Building Standards Code. This code applies to all residential, commercial, hospitals, and school buildings. This is on energy consumption. Cal Green will require that every new building reduce water consumption by 20%, but I don't know what the base is to say whether you reduced it by 20%. It also includes all non-residential buildings over 10,000 square feet. If a local jurisdiction does not have a construction and demolition debris diversion ordinance, which I don't believe we do, the builder will need to develop a waste management plan for submittal with the building plans for approval. This is part of the construction waste diversion requirement. So that's going to come in, and of course that's going to cost additional money. And it's amazing how they all want affordable housing, and then they just keep dumping this stuff.
Yeah, it'll be real affordable.
Okay, and then you have the fire apparatus access road standards. This new section requires that for all new construction, the fire apparatus access road, this includes residential construction. The fire apparatus access road must be 20 feet wide from the fire station to the new building site. Taken literally, this requirement means that a person building a single-family home would need to improve any substandard width road all the way back to the fire station. The second issue is that 20-foot width requirement is in conflict with the existing 18-foot width provision of the fire safe regulations. But probably since this is adopted afterward and is more onerous, it would be the one that would take effect. And so that is going to also add significantly.
But it doesn't apply to us. It doesn't apply to SRAs, state responsibility areas.
No, I don't. No, I don't see that in here anywhere. This is just the new building code that
Right,
comes
it
in.
doesn't apply to SRAs.
Wait, I got a question too about your water tank. If you're on a well,
Yes.
the water tank item, is that applied to just new construction, or if you sell a house?
This is new construction. This is the building code. So this is new construction. Not
It doesn't apply to
including,
remodeling or
not including remodeling or additions, apparently.
just new construction?
Just new construction. Okay? I think that was it here. I'll try to make this go kind of fast. Do you want any of this?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Is Tom here yet? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, wait a second. Well, you get a kick out of this. The board reviewed the annual compensation for the CEO of RCRC. That's Greg, who took Brent's place. And it was voted to approve it on an 18-4 vote. I was one of the 4 that voted not to approve it. And the compensation was increased 6.3% to $239,000 a year. So how you justify that is beyond. Craig's a good man doing a good job, but how you justify that in this environment, is absolutely clueless to me. What else did I have here? Let's see, I think I need this one. What did I hand you? Yeah. There's the one on the budget. Where's the budget? Affairs. Supplemental packet, it says. Where the hell is my supplemental? What's the budget? Building standards. State budget, page 1.
Your time.
Oh,
It's the one you tore out.
yeah. Oh, I did that. Okay, I did it. Okay, and then I thought I'd just quickly go over the propositions. And the board, they actually polled RCRC's board on the propositions. The first proposition was Proposition 19, which is the marijuana proposition. RCRC staff voted or recommended an opposed position. RCRC voted to oppose it on a 17-5 vote. I was one of the 5. On Proposition 21, which is the increase in vehicle license fees to fund the state parks, RCRC staff recommended a neutral position, and the RCRC board voted to oppose it on a 17 in favor, 2 opposed, 3 abstention vote. I was one of the 17 to oppose it. On Proposition 22, which is the ability of the state to raid the transportation, redevelopment, and local government funds. RCRC staff recommended a neutral position, and RCRC voted a neutral position, the board. On Proposition 23, which is to suspend AB 32, RCRC staff recommend a support position to suspend our AB 32. I supported that support position, and it passed the board on a support position. But one of the things they did say about AB 32 is and that was probably appropriate to the discussion this morning on that grant. Even if it passes, it does not suspend the global climate change or greenhouse gas requirements in all planning documents, like the general plan and things like that. If it's suspended, it does not suspend those requirements because they're not part of AB 32. They're separately, they've been separately mandated. Okay, proposition.
What was the vote on that?
I didn't write the vote down on that, but I think it was almost unanimous. I mean, if it wasn't unanimous, there were maybe 2 no votes or something. Proposition 24, which is increased taxes on business. It wants to do away with the loss carry forward or carrying your losses backwards on business. RCRC staff recommended a neutral position. The board voted a neutral position. I voted to oppose it because I think it's just crazy to be increasing business taxes in this environment, particularly when a lot of businesses are losing money. And one of the ways they can stay in business is to average out their losses, either going forwards or most likely going backwards.
I'll agree with you.
And that's just going to destroy more businesses. But anyway, they voted to be neutral on it. Okay, then Proposition 25, which is a big one and has a lot of emotion behind it, and that's the one that says you can pass a budget with a majority vote. I was opposed to that. RCRC staff recommended a neutral position, and the RCRC board voted to oppose it. And the reason, I voted against it for 2 reasons. Number one is I don't want a majority vote. I want a supermajority, 2/3 vote to pass the budget. But the reason RCRC voted, the board voted against it, is because within the language it states that in the budget resolution itself, you can put tax increases. So in other words, if the tax increase comes in the budget resolution, then it doesn't require a 2/3 vote for a tax increase. It's just in the budget resolution. And it does have some wording about it has to be balanced. So if you have a big deficit, you can just bring the budget resolution with a bunch of tax increases that say now we have a balanced budget and get it to pass on a majority vote. And most people aren't aware of that, and there's nothing in the title that would give you any hint that what you're voting for is to abolish the 2/3 requirement for tax increases. But you are, as far as the budget bill goes, and that's where they'll put them all. So that generated quite a bit of debate, and for that reason, the RCRC board voted to oppose the ballot proposition for a majority vote on the budget. Then the last one we took a position on was Proposition 26, which would require a 2/3 vote to increase fees both by the state legislature and by local government. RCRC staff recommended a opposed position. The RCRC board voted opposed, and I voted to support it because they're just going to fee us to death, and it'll just be taxes. So that completes my RCRC report. Paul Smith said at the end of the first full week of September, it's his bet that we will have a budget adopted by the state legislature, because that's when IOUs will kick in. That's about when the cash flow falls off a cliff. So we'll see if he's correct or not. So anyway, that completes my comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I'd like to return to the agenda and go to item 18. Mr. Garcia.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, members of the board. Item 18 is direction for Public Works to add the Arnold Rim Trail Project, Cedar Center Connection Project, as a county project, and to initiate discussions on entering into a memorandum of understanding with the Forest Service, COG, and county.
Are there any questions or comments from the board on this?
I just want, it says, on your recommendation, it says to establish project responsibilities consistent with the attached draft MOU. The draft MOU shows the county as being the project deliverer for the project and doing the planning, et cetera. And I'm very much in favor of that, but I don't, I would not be voting for this if the county is not going to do the project delivery. So are you able to assure me that the county is going to do the project delivery?
The memorandum of understanding will come back before the board for approval, and if the direction from the board is to include that language, then that's what we'll do.
Okay, well, it's included now in the draft MOU.
And again, that's the Public Works draft, which was consistent with the Arnold Mobility Plan and our understanding of where we were being directed.
Okay, I'd like to see that stay.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I have two. One is that, given the time, I believe it would defy the laws of physics to have our 3 o'clock meeting. And so we'll reschedule for some time after Labor Day.
Are we going to be done before Labor Day?
Well, I don't know. I'm making a guess.
I can't wait for the second comment then.
My second comment goes to the chair. I believe you've been working a very long time on this, so if you would like to relinquish the gavel for a moment, you could make the motion. I would think this is an honor or a privilege that you might
I have
wish.
a couple of